We got a video to watch today, and it's actually from Taliesin and Evitel. We haven't watched a lot of them on our channel, but 18 great changes coming in 10.0.1. Or 10.1, sorry, not 10.0.1. Yeah, so let's check this baby out. I'm excited to see some changes that are coming. Maybe you are too, and then after this, we're going to form up Raid. Let's see what's going on here.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and today we are talking about World of Warcraft Dragonflight patch 10.1, because the first major patch of the expansion is on the horizon, and we'll probably be getting an official announcement in the coming weeks, where we will get more details on the new zone.
I'm hoping, so we just talked about Twitch drops a little bit, I'm hoping they have a Twitch drop event for this. That'd be very cool.
The new raid, the new Mythic Plus season, and probably the upcoming Mega Dungeon too. But a patch is more than just the headline features, you know, and in my opinion, there are a number of smaller alterations and fixes that Blizzard need to make to the game to ensure that Dragonflight goes down as the 9-carat grade A S-tier top shelf absolute banger expansion that it deserves to. Changes that I'm going to call
the Legion putting the necklace on Dragonflight. That was hilarious. But Dragonflight so far has been a win. Now, obviously, it's to be determined on whether it's going to be a win expansion, but it's been a W expansion for sure.
Wins in this video, seeing as they are all, in theory, quick and easy to implement. So, yeah, no player housing, please, in this one. Changes that correct a mistake that Blizz have made, or fix for an idea that maybe doesn't quite work. And
I've been enjoying it. Yeah, I've been enjoying it too.
Positive impact on players and the game compared to the amount of work that is required to make it happen. So I'm going to be staying away from bug fixes here too. Like, yeah, obviously, it would be great if I could farm the Primalist Storm mobs in Obsidian Hold without phasing in and out like the world's most indecisive rogue. That would be lovely. And that's stuff that, frankly, you'd expect to get changed.
Oh, no, Raiko, we're holding off on that until Friday.
So join us.
It's got to be end of the week.
I think like 19 in the end. I don't know. I kind of lost track. Easy win changes that Blizzard need to make to Dragonflight in 10.1, or else it's a dead game. Dragonflight is dead.
So
okay, go, 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 go. Dracthyr are officially the coolest race in the whole of World of Warcraft, nay, video game history. And I think the entire internet definitely agrees with that. Because where else are you going to find an awesome dragon-looking race that looks like if a malnourished gecko had a child with a giraffe? Nowhere, because no other game has anything like the Dracthyr. Shut up, no other game. But I'm not sure the You Are a
Was that a... What is this game? Is this RuneScape or something?
Dracthyr. Shut up, no other.
What is this? Dungeons and Dragons or something? I've seen this, but I don't know from which game. I forgot which game actually has this. EverQuest. Man, I'm so stupid. That's right, it's EverQuest.
But I'm not sure the You Are a Dragon for real, though. You just missed leg day and arm day and every other day. Fantasy is completely nailed with the Dork.
Yeah, we don't have any Chad Theer, unfortunately.
That is their soar racial ability, which on the face of it is absolutely brilliant. Take off from a standing start and glide the kind of distances that make demon hunters feel as useless and ashamed as they should all the time, really. Like, we are talking zone-spanning flight here at huge speeds with a couple of dragon riding abilities.
I don't think you can use it in a dungeon, though. I still think demon hunters have the best in-dungeon mobility. That's right. Like, within a dungeon, like running a Mythic Plus or something, still nothing beats a demon hunter's mobility.
But he's thrown in for good measure. And yes, this is very cool in the old world, where there's nothing else like it. Yeah, when your Dracthyr Evoker is doing all that content that it does in the old world, that's very useful for all that old world content on your Dracthyr. But on the Dragon Isles, there's just something weird about being a dragon flying a dragon, okay? And it's just a bit weird
dragon riding a dragon,
and not quite being able to fly like a dragon. So, first point of order on this list, change the soar racial ability to basically just be dragon riding. Like, literally dragon riding. No bells, no whistles, just straight up be like, oh yes, soar.
I totally agree with this. I mean, it would be... What the Dracthyr have right now would, in essence, be the same as, like, if the Worgen, if they're, like, you know, running form, their mount form, was like a lesser version of a regular mount. You know, it would be such like a negated ability at that point. It's stupid. There's no point in even having it. You're going to mount up. You're never going to use that ability. So I definitely think Soar should be restored. Restore the Soar. If you guys don't remember, on PTR, before Dragonflight came out, Soar was an ability that was like the same as regular dragon riding, and then they nerfed it.
means you do dragon
Bring it
riding,
back.
but without your dragon. You're the
Make
dragon
sword
with the
great
figure
again.
and the upgrades and everything else. Lose the cooldown, lose the ability to use it anywhere you can't use dragon riding, which means the old world for now. It's basically just a druid flight form now, which I think is fair enough because
I think the old world issues of being able to basically dragon ride in the old world was the reason they nerfed it. So he's probably right. You got to take it out of the old world. That's fine. But give
you've got literal
make Sora
wings
amazing.
for flying. Now, these changes actually make it a less useful ability in many ways. Not being able to use it in the old world for all of that tons of old world content that you do on your Dracthyr, and not having Soar as a backup flight on the Dragon Isles when you've run out of vigor on your Drake. But despite that, this would be a massively popular move because it just fits the entire race fantasy more. And I know Blizz want everyone to engage in the Pimp My Dragon customization collectible mini game because it's a big feature of the expansion and actually a great thing for lots of professions to engage in too. But honestly, give a shit. We've had an entire opening major patch for Dracthyr to get attached to their drakes now. Most will still engage with that part of the game, so do it. Make the Soar racial ability literally just dragon riding in 10.1. Oh, and on the subject of Dracthyr,
I don't even play Dracthyr, but I'd be fine with that.
I really genuinely like the idea of the Dracthyr Evoker being a new race and class. It's great flavor, and it makes sense that no other races would know how to do their particular brand of our powers combined aspect magic yet, since we've only just encountered them. But regardless, it would be a very, very easy win on Blizzard's part to enable
they do. They have their Soar ability in the old world.
Dracthyr to play as other classes too. Because the people have spoken, and
they
the
could have their
people
slower
want their
form,
Dragon Boy warriors,
I agree. They could have their slower form in the old world and the faster form in Dragon Isles. That's true.
The Legacy cinematics. You know the cinematics where they all exclusively wield pole arms, which is like literally the only weapon type that playable Dracthyr can't equip? You can't be like, oh yeah, the Dracthyr were mighty warriors, but for some reason all the actual warriors have gone now. I don't know what happened.
Well, we talked about this though. They were actual warriors, but the Black Dragonflight abilities were stripped away from them because of everyone's fear of the Black Dragonflight corruption. And it turns out the Black Dragonflight abilities were their tanking / melee abilities. That is why this cinematic makes sense, and that's why they can't have polearms and tank and all that other shit.
There, sorry. The people want their Dragon Boy hunters so they can be a dragon. Dragon riding a dragon with a pet that is a dragon. They want their Dragon Boy rogues so that they can go invisible and the person they're sneaking up on is all like, I could have sworn I saw a dragon then, but I couldn't have. I must have just imagined dragons. Sorry.
I think eventually they will add other classes to the Dracthyr. It just makes sense.
And also make other races able to be Evoker, because they've had a whole patch to learn our powers combined aspect magic now. Make them do a bit with a class trainer where they get blessed
But how do you do the flyover and all that stuff?
by the aspects and automatically pop into a dragon form for various abilities, just like demon hunters do,
I don't know
and which
about that
Dracthyr basically do too if they have their visage form toggled on. And for what it's worth,
I don't know about
I
that
think both of these things definitely will happen, just not in 10.1 or even in this expansion, to be honest.
Dwarf
I think
Evoker
Dracthyr
kinda scares
Warriors and Blood Elf Evokers are inevitable, but it's probably going to be a 12.0.
I don't think Evokers should be offered to other races, but I think other classes should be offered to the Dracthyr.
Next expansion feature rather than anything that we see happen in this cycle. And I think that's probably fair enough, but it is eventually going to make a lot of people very happy. I originally had a few profession points in this video, but most have already actually been implemented by Blizzard in the time it took me to finish this script, like account-wide primal chaos. Sorted. But this is easily my most important change to professions, maybe the most important change on this entire list. Please, Blizz, please, please, I am on my knees begging you. Make the fishing hat a profession accessory. Because fishing hats are a thing in Dragonflight. You can buy them and make them and get them as rewards from quests. But if you actually want to use one, you have to open your bags and manually equip it every time.
There you go, Sugar Dust. Problem solved. Exactly. Allow you to pick a visage form from other races.
You want to hunker
Problem
down
solved.
for some
That
solid
would be
rod
fine.
action. I don't really know much about fishing IRL, and I don't really know the terms that they use, but solid rod action sounds about right, doesn't it? It definitely sounds like the kind of thing hardcore
Today is the day,
fishing
that's
people
right,
would say.
Creeper.
Dragonflight is the profession expansion after all, and the fishing content in Dragon Isles is excellent, honestly. Just one little extra space in the profession tab to equip your hat, just like every other profession has, would be awesome. Now, obviously in an ideal world, I'd also want a whole fishing specialization tree, and that's something I'm sure will come with the next expansion, because it's not so much an easy win as actually quite a deep, detailed, labor-intensive win. So in the meantime, just give me my
We're doing
hat slot, I'll be
Broodkeeper and
happy. I know
Razageth
that
heroic
another
today.
big profession ask is that players have the ability to reset their profession specialization trees, and I genuinely think this is something that is going to happen in 10.1, mainly because
You can't reset it right now?
A player's main character will probably have gathered enough knowledge points by now to completely fill out a specialization tree that they chose by mistake, and the one that they decided that they wanted afterwards. When the reset comes, which
got
I think
about
will probably
15
take the
minutes.
form of completely clearing your specializations at the cost of like 10 or 15 knowledge or something, will mostly be for alt
Make it happen,
quality of
Preston.
life, and Dragonflight is all about the alt quality of life, so I think that's pretty much a given. Oh, and while we're at it, make our fishing poles transmoggable as well. Oh, don't think I've forgotten about the transmoggable fishing poles, Blizz. Okay, hunker down, fam. There are so many potential easy wins for Blizz to stuff into 10.1 when it comes to dragon riding that I've given them
Dragon
their own
riding's great,
subsection
man.
in this video. Because yeah,
great.
okay, fine. Dragon riding is probably the best single core addition to the game since Transmog, and maybe ever. It may very well elevate and improve nearly every aspect of the open world moment-to-moment gameplay experience. But until each of these very obvious fixes are in place, the entire thing sucks and Dragonflight is a dead expansion. So, first up, make dragon helms a thing. In the big Dragonflight reveal stream,
That'd be
we got
nice.
our first glimpses of Stony Tony and the Dragon Isles and talent trees and professions and dragon riding. The dragons that they showed off were often wearing nifty helmets as part of their armor setup, something which you may have noticed is not an option in-game. Not only that, but the very recent MDI trailer has its dragons being ridden around Noku Defensive like it's a Michael Bay movie, also wearing those same dragon
Damn.
armor helmets, which you'll notice aren't available in the game.
Yeah, the armor options are really lacking right now. It would be great. I totally agree with you.
Not only that, but just about every dragon at every flight point on the Dragon Isles, which you probably never noticed because honestly who
What up,
uses
Didda?
flight points anymore, is also equipped with a shiny spiky dragon hat, which you'll notice is not an option available to our dragons as customization. Basically, give us
right.
the hats, Blizz. Don't be stingy with the hats, okay? Actually, there's a few drakes around the initial training area in the Waking Shores that not only wear these helmets, but also have other customizations that aren't available yet to players too, like this very rich dark saddle color and also white scales. Yeah,
Oh.
so white scales are a thing in dragon riding customizations. Data mining of the original Dragonflight Alpha revealed that there are white
shit, an albino dragon. This is badass. I would rock white scales. That's perfect, like a Northrend style.
scale customizations that have been made already for all 4 dragon riding
This guy just looks bald. I don't know why.
Drake types. So basically, all the work has already been done. So basically, why can't I be a cool icy Drake rider, Blizz? In
Yeah,
fairness, I don't think this
I
is
like
a feature
this.
that they've forgotten about. It seems
They're just
very
gonna put it
likely
in
to
later.
me that these are indeed planned as customizations
Yeah.
for a future patch. Probably in 10.1, since it certainly seems that patch will see us heading under the Dragon Isles
Agreed.
for the story in some way, and I guess it kind of makes sense that drakes who live underground would be white, right? Like, things that live underground are pasty and white, right? Like,
Albinos.
moles. Okay, fine, it doesn't make sense. But I suspect they and the helmets are probably a 10.1 feature anyway. And what about beyond that? In data mining, the Velocidrake didn't just have the 6th white scale option, but also a 7th color option. This suspiciously looking Infinite Dragonflight little number. 10.2 is the standalone Infinite Dragons patch. It's Dragonflight's Ulduar. I've been saying this since the beginning. And Drake customizations are all very well and good, of course, but you know what's even better? A whole new Drake too. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah.
may I introduce you to the 5th rideable, customizable dragon riding Drake that was found in the original alpha data.
What?
The Winding Slither Drake. Using the same skeleton and
shit.
animations as the Heart of the Aspects store
Yeah.
mount, this Drake has already had a lot of work put into it. 6 scale colors, including white of course,
Oh my god, look at these. I haven't seen these. There is so much they can do with dragon riding customization. Oh my god. These are... Holy shit, these are nice. These are really nice.
face, horn, tail, and throat options, armor options, including helmets. It feels like adding this bad boy to the game would be as simple as
This
just
would be a
pressing
big
a
boy.
button at this
This would
stage.
be a nice
and I
one.
imagine that that is exactly what they'll do in
I love the albino.
10.1. probably. I'm like 90% certain at this stage that the Slither Drake is planned as a 10.1 feature. After all, its slender, wavy form would be perfect for negotiating tight caverns underground, just like a mole. Okay, fine, whatever. It's coming in 10.1, I reckon. Also, something that is definitely coming in 10.1 is a new zone, which means more dragon racing time trials all over the place, which is excellent news.
Yeah, more.
Because
I love the
dragon
dragon
races
racing.
are brilliant, solid, optional
That was some fun
single-player
content to
be
do.
enjoyed in your downtime, which are just challenging enough to take a few attempts while still being very completable. But you know what would make them even better? Arbitrary competition in the form of leaderboards. Wouldn't it be awesome
That
if
would be
talking
cool.
to the race starter guide also gave you options to see the top 10 times for that race on your realm and the name of the players that set them? And what if
Realm-wide time lists? That would be really badass. Who the fuck is downtime?
when you complete the race, as well as giving you your time and
Who
the
has
best
downtime?
ever time,
Right?
it also gives you your
Noobs.
realm ranking
Go get
for
gear.
that place. I just think that would be pretty cool. And also much more difficult to implement, and honestly, again, not really an easy one at all. But since we're on the topic, surely the end game for dragon racing has to be dragon races all over the old world. Just as
Oh,
soon as
man.
dragon riding is enabled there in, like,
Right.
probably the pre-patch next expansion.
Yeah,
and
right.
the ultimate end game, options for players to place their own rings and buffs and create their own dragon riding courses for other players to try Mario Maker
Wow.
style. Hardly a quick afternoon's programming to get that one in, I know, but that's totally what we should be aiming for, I think. And I think that's just about it.
That
for
would be
dragon
bad.
riding.
Imagine hosting your own dragon riding tournaments.
Oh, give us the hover
pretty
button.
badass.
Dragon riding is superior to standard swim flying in just about every way. We even have a brake button coming in 10.07. The only thing it lacks now is the ability to hover a little bit off the ground, to go AFK while you wait for a rare to spawn.
If they give us hovering, then I'll be convinced that dragon riding is coming to the rest of Azeroth. Because that's the one thing that's currently lacking right now. That just like, your other riding, your other mount still has value because it can hover, and your dragon riding mount can't. But if they give dragon riding hover, I mean, it's game over at that point. There's no reason to use your other mounts anymore.
Or whatever. It's not a massive deal, it's not a game breaker, but it's something that the player base would love. You're going to want to add new dragon riding upgrades and abilities as the patches roll on, so it's another easy win to do it. And don't worry, that is definitely the end of the dragon riding section. Oh no, wait, druid dragon riding form. Again, this is probably something for the next expansion, but I
shit,
think
what about
Blizz
the druids?
could sneak it into a dragonflight patch. I'm certain that at some point,
This would be
druids will
easy
get
for
a
them to
dragon
do.
riding flight form. They have to, really. If dragon riding is going to be enabled everywhere, which I think it definitely is, it makes sense that druids have a form to do it, because that's kind of their whole deal. Yeah, I know, another button for your druid, I know, but I think this one would be worth it.
Either that, or if they just give dragon riding to all mounts, then obviously the druid flying form would have dragon riding. Plus.
Hey friends! Not only have I
Oh,
remembered the
Square
URL
Dance.
for my own website, tnd.tv or taliesinnevital.com, your choice, but this video is being very generously sponsored by Squarespace, which means I actually
There it
need to get
is.
cracking with
Look
updating
at
our
that.
actual website. Whoops! So, to dip my toes back in, I thought I'd start super simple. First up, updating our embedded videos. As you may be aware,
Oh, that's
we
nice.
run a YouTube channel.
Squarespace.
If you had forgotten. So,
I don't have my own
it's
website,
handy that
so I haven't had to do
Squarespace
this
offers
yet.
direct video
That's
embedding
interesting,
and
though.
doesn't require us to juggle yet another platform to upload to. Although you can upload exclusive video content direct to your website, stay tuned for more on that. And of course, videos are easily swappable and updatable. Now,
Oh, look at
Squarespace
that.
could just make the videos for us. Actually, Squarespace, could you just make the videos? I'm joking. But could you? You might remember that we spent some time trialing a few different looks for the site, and as much as the full bleed Idris header does it for me, I actually really like our current template, so I'm keeping it. But look at these beauties. It's templates galore on Squarespace.
That's
How
pretty
could you
crazy.
resist a tinker?
Look at that.
Or an Idris. And finally for this sesh, I've gone ahead and updated some essential stats. All done easy peasy thanks to the Squarespace editor. I've actually gone in and used Markdown for this section because that's just how I am, and it's cool that I can go hard on the HTML or just drag and drop the pretty boxes.
Just
depending
editing
on
the
how
amount of
I'm feeling
followers
that
they
day.
have.
Want to give it a spin? Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/taliesinevitell and use code taliesinevitell to save 10% off
There
your
you go.
first purchase of a website or domain.
Get 10%
That's
off.
squarespace.com/taliesinevitell. Oh, and shout out to Early 2000s LiveJournal for teaching me everything I ever needed to know about HTML.
Boom.
And everything else for that matter.
There has been a lot of talk
Okay,
in the
we're back.
community recently about Mythic Plus, and in particular, affixes, and whether or not they are good, I guess. And sure, I think there
They're
is a
not.
discussion to be had about affixes. Personally, I think we're overanalyzing the entire thing slightly, and the main issue is that we've been playing with the same affixes for the last 7 years, just about, which means, good or bad, they're just stale.
Wait a minute. Damn, was Legion 7 years ago? Holy shit. Legion was 7 years ago? Damn. I feel
And
old.
boring now, and actually perversely make new dungeons feel more similar to old dungeons than they should, because at this point Mythic Plus dungeons in Legion, BFA, Shadowlands and Dragonflight have all shared the exact same
Time flies,
handful
yeah,
of
really.
weekly mechanics. And honestly, I think the best thing to do would just be to replace every single one of them with something new. That sounds like a job for next expansion rather than an easy win, but don't worry, because I've got one of those for Mythic Plus.
I like the idea of the positive affixes. The ones where if you, like someone else was talking about them in a YouTube video we watched before, where like if you do an affix, you get a buff. Like do the mechanic, get a buff kind of thing, rather than survive the mechanic stuff. I don't know.
I
That
don't
idea
know
sounded
about
cool
you,
to me.
But 99% of the time, if I'm in a dungeon group and we wipe and dick our key, it's not because of some random affix. It's because some random trash mob didn't have an incredibly important to interrupt ability interrupted. And it's no real wonder when a
True.
boss hits you with something, it's usually telegraphed and obvious. And even if it kills you,
We died to trash. I died to trash way more than I die in boss fights. Dying to trash is the... He's
you
right. It's the
usually
reason
know
you end up
what
key
killed
usually.
you. In Mythic Plus, trash mobs have been elevated to boss level power a lot
Trash
of the time.
mobs
but
are
there
much
is
harder
no
than
boss
boss
style
fights.
telegraphing for those suddenly very powerful abilities that they have. So I honestly think that the easiest, most impactful single change that you could make to Mythic Plus would be to make it very, very obvious when a mob is casting an ability that needs to be interrupted. Like seriously, make them flash red. Make
That's
a
what
special
add-ons are
cast
for.
bar appear over their heads. Make it as obvious to the players what is happening here as when a boss is about to do a big charge or a smash or something else that can wipe you. And I am certain that overnight you'll see less random wipes, less toxicity, and more
probably right.
confidence from players who aren't terrified of getting shouted at because they didn't kick some invisible mechanic. It is time to make LFR cross-faction. At least in Dragonflight. There is
LFR is
literally
not cross-faction?
no reason not to. Just include an opt-out box for players that really don't want to be teamed up
What?
with the other side, and we can stop making queues
I didn't know
longer
that.
for zero reason that anyone can see. And while we're at it, I don't honestly think we need to wait until next expansion for cross-faction guilds either. I
This
understand
one's
why
good.
players might feel they want to ease into complete
This one's good.
cross-faction play over a
What's
longish
up,
period
lords?
of time, and before Dragonflight, I would have agreed with them. But actually playing the game, I think it's obvious that there is no
Cross-faction guilds is a must that's going to happen eventually. I honestly had no idea that LFR was not cross-faction.
too
I had not paid
soon
attention
when it
in
comes to
LFR groups to know
cross-faction
that.
guilds. Times change, old man. Progress is progress, and we live
I
in
know.
a
I don't know why it
cross-faction
isn't
world.
either.
And I'm not just saying that just because I want to hang out in my guild chat, even if I'm playing my objectively baller orc warrior. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. quite
I
a
like
big
the
part of
glasses.
it.
That's actually a badass transmo.
I want to make this very clear, okay? This
We
is
could
not
sugar dust if
a
it's
joke.
cross-faction.
This is not a meme. It is legitimately time for Playable Tuskarr. Dragonflight has already given us a new race
That's
and
gonna
class in the
happen.
Dracthyr, granted, but it used to be pretty standard for WoW.
Look at any of the Tuskarr models in the village, in their village, right? Look at the hyper detailed and variety that there is in the Tuskarr right now in game. They are. This is a completely different model than the model that we had of Tuskarr previously. These guys are completely, the customization level on each Tuskarr is extremely in depth, and that tells me they're going to be
WoW
playable.
expansions to introduce 2 new races at a time. And honestly,
gonna be
if
playable.
Tuskarr are ever going to be a thing, and they absolutely should be, then you feel if it doesn't happen now in Dragonflight.
My God. God, lords, you scared the shit out of me. You fucker. Oh my
Then
God.
it will never happen. And then what can I say?
It's
You've only
because my headphones are very, they're really good with sound. So that totally fucking made me look, and then the other, oh my God. My heart is beating like a fucking 100 miles an hour right now.
You got yourselves to blame, Blizz, when WoW dies a couple of years down the line because everyone left to play the hot new MMO Warus Online who listened
And I have
to
a
their
door right
players.
here.
Honestly, I wouldn't even care that much, but Dragonflight has done such an amazing job on the Tuskarr, enriching their lore and character and culture so that they have become so much more
fucking
than
sweating
the
right now.
slightly memey race that they were before, and are now one of the best real...
It's my bathroom. It's my bathroom. It doesn't go anywhere but my basement. So the fact that somebody would be in there fucking knocking on the door, what a horror fucking movie.
And fleshed out non-playable races in the game. Don't forget, canonically,
I'm about to fucking disable that shit.
as told in the Azure Spam leveling campaign, Kalagos is literally basing the structure of Blue Dragonflight 2.0 on Tuskarr society.
Yeah, you didn't get me.
So presumably they're just going to sit around telling stories all day in between fishing and eating. And what to fur, the Blue Flight is my favorite flight now. How likely is this to happen? The Tuskarr skeletons and animations aren't quite at the very obviously going to be a playable race level that Vulpera were in BFA, which is disheartening. And if I'm completely honest, I don't think Blizz went into Dragonflight planning to make them playable. But then, according to Blizz, they hadn't planned for Kultirans to be playable either until the reception they got with the player base convinced them otherwise.
True.
And I believe the same could be possible with our favourite Tusky boys. Dragonflight is the please everyone all of the time expansion after all, and this would be one hell of a crowd pleaser. Just imagine a new patch with
You bitch.
an extended renown tree, helping out our Tuskarr
Oh,
buddies
the
to
Tuskarr
point
coming.
where,
Playable
at the
race
end,
guaranteed.
You unlock the allyship of gaming's objectively
Guaranteed.
most badass race. Playable as Shaman, Warrior, Hunter, Evoker. because
Tortolan. The Tuskarr and the Tortolan are actually two very similar races that I could imagine coming as a package deal.
they're friends with the Blue Dragonflight, yeah? Death Knight, which they have
Totally.
to become voluntarily because, as everyone knows, you can't kill a Tuskarr. Monk
And then everyone says, though, but how do you put a cape on a Tortolan? You don't. You don't. Just like you can't put shoes on a Tauren or a Draenei, right? They have hooves. They can't wear shoes. Tortolan won't be able to wear capes. You can still equip one, it just won't show.
and Demon
Problem
Hunter,
solved.
Dragonflight is already one of the best WoW expansions ever at this stage of the rollout. This would seal the deal as making it the unassailable champion. And there you have it, our easy wins for Dragonflight
There
in
you
patch
go.
10.1 that Blizz have to make though, or the game is dead though. But what do you think? Would our ideas make the game better? Is there an obvious fix or feature that you think we've left out? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their
Yes.
actual real life money to make all of our work happen. And guys, seriously, thank you. Because without you, there would be a whole
That was a
lot
great
less
video.
Taliesin and Evertel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Dratnos. No, my name is Taliesin.
What's the pain for
me
today?
And Evertel and Nyrin and Penny and everyone else and your mum
Today-
too. Cheerio.
We do Broodkeeper and Razageth. Are you guys ready? It's time. Alright, enough knocking on doors, fucking around, watching videos. It's time. Let's go. I'm about to post up the queue. Everybody get ready to queue. We're about to get into raid. We got Broodkeeper. We got Razageth. We got Heroic. We got gear to get. We got shit to do. We got AOTCs for people who haven't gotten it yet. Let's go.